What's up, guys? I'm gonna do something a little different than my normal videos. It's definitely gonna be a new one for me. As you can see, I got my little setup here. As I made a video before stating that I was learning about FRM repairing, I've only had a chance to actually do one real FRM repair. And what I mean by that is actually putting the FRM in a car or back in the car. So I have a couple of FRMs here that I got from my shop. This is another one that I had just done. And the way that you can kind of tell is if you look over here, you see the silver spots and the glaze, that's the flux. Basically, all you need is a TOPDON Phoenix device, which can be fairly expensive. This is the Phoenix Lite 3, which I think is like 800 bucks. They still sell it. You also need yourself a teenager box, which comes with these adapters to solder to the circuit board. And that's pretty much it. I do have, I don't know if you can really see that. I'm gonna go back all the way out and show you how to get into it. So here's the main screen of the Phoenix, probably most Phoenix series. I don't have any of the more higher up ones, but I think this is pretty much the starting point. So you'll go to scan, and this is for FRMs, for BMW FRMs. So you'll go to BMW, and then blah blah blah. It's gonna give you like all the information on the latest update, what it can do, yada yada. And then hopefully, sometimes it takes a couple of times. Sometimes it'll say go F yourself. There's some corruption file, and you need to re-download it. But I've been having an issue with this TOPDON Teenager box. So they're sending me a new one, so hopefully that'll rectify it. But so as you can see here, I don't know if you can see it. Bottom right says anti-theft system. I know FRMs are not technically anti-theft, but that's where it is. And it tells you need to connect your IMMO box, which is your Teenager Plus. Okay, tells you shows you the diagram, and then there it is. So you have multiple options in here: anti-theft key matching. You got DME module replacement, which I did do one of. I'm very proud of that. I'll do another video on that. Replacement of FRM, which is what we're gonna do. A mobilizer module replacement, which is gonna be like a CAS or a BDC or FEM, and then gearbox module replacement, TCU or whatever, maybe EGS. No, it's gonna be TCU. But so we'll do replacement of FRM module. Now it's gonna give you options of what chips inside the FRM. There's 4 here. I've only but seen one, and that's the XEQ384. I do have my magnifying whatever you want to call it up there. And so you'll go into that. Gives you a bunch of different options. These all do different stuff. The repair option is mainly the one that we're going to be dealing with. Like I said, I've only but done an actual repair on one. As far as putting it back in a vehicle, I pulled it out of that vehicle, put the same FRM back in the vehicle, and it worked. There was no issues. There was no coding involved. There was no programming and nothing like that. I literally just did the repair, slapped it back in the car, and everything worked. So from what I've read, if you take an FRM out of one car, but it uses the same FRM, you do the repair, you put it back in a different car, I think the FRM does have to be coded. That's much different than from what I've seen for like American cars. I'm not sure about other European cars, but on as far as I know, on these ones, that's what it is. So FRM super easy. I didn't grab a pocket screwdriver, and I don't have fingernails, but literally just some tabs that open it up like so, and then you'll do the same thing with the other side, some smaller tabs. And I ain't got no fingernails, so. Okay. So here's the FRM. This one has not been repaired. Very, very new to soldering. Kind of, sort of, a little bit getting the hang of it. I'm sure there's a lot more better ways that it can be done, but this has worked for me. So you'll do your display connection diagram down here at the bottom right. It'll download a photo, and it literally shows you where to solder to. So probably fast forward this, but in the TOPDON T-Ninja box also includes some adapters, which is this middle guy here, which on this one is the MCU V1, which is this little chip guy. So I'm not sure exactly what it does, but yeah, all I know is it works. So I'll throw my solder on here, probably take some flux with my brush here, and just do a little layer of flux. Should already have the right tip on here. Yeah, I do. And basically all we're gonna do is just, we're just gonna put a little drop of solder on the board. Wait for this to heat up just a little bit. Usually I found like 370, 380 is fine. I think it depends on the kind of solder that you buy though. So I'll literally, I mean, I have my, what is that? Tip tinner. And then this is to clean the tip. You just literally just in there sometimes, and then just put some solder on. And then, so I'm pretty sure I already know the ones, but I always double check. Just a little dabby dab, little dabby dab, dabby dab, and little dabby dab. Doesn't take much. All you're looking for is just a little bit of solder on there so that you can put the wires on. Now we got a number 2, number 11, number 6, and number 10. I don't know what they are. It doesn't tell. So I'm gonna start from the right because I'm left-handed. So if I start from the left, which I did earlier, it's kind of hard to get to the ones to the right. So we have 10, which is a red wire, which I would assume is gonna be some sort of a power wire. And then we got a yellow, which is number 6. And then we got a number 11, which is black, which I'm assuming is probably going to be a ground of some sort. Number 11. Come on, man. As I said, still very new. All right, and then last one's gonna be number 2, which is like a blue or a purple. All right, so should be soldered on. By the way, there's a few people that I do want to thank for kind of teaching me this stuff, along with some of the DMA stuff. Check Engine Chuck, Ryan Mullen, Mike Foster, Gabe Hunt, Hunt's Workshop, Diego, BMW Doctor. Y'all know who you are. So I appreciate everything, you guys. Anyway, let's get out of here. And we're gonna, first thing we're gonna do is gonna read chip ID number. And as long as I got it soldered correctly, we have a chip ID, C482, which is what they all end up being. So, so we should be good. Now, there's several things you can do. You can read partition. Generally, the partition shows you 2 different ones. It's going to be a D-flash. And then the EEPROM, I don't know the exact difference. Anybody that does this stuff is going to be able to tell you a lot more information than I do. But from what I've heard is the EEPROM gets corrupt. So then it won't distribute information. It won't do anything. It won't do anything. It just bricks, and then you can't even talk to it. So if you read partition, see if this one does it. So this one, chip has no partition. Please mark read and write partition first. So basically, when you go to repair it, it'll give you an EEPROM side, but it'll give you no D-flash side. Now you can read or back up flash data, and I think the flash data has the VIN number. Well, I think it might be in the EEPROM data too, but I think mainly it's in the flash data, and that's the reason if you put a car, because the repair I believe fixes the EEPROM and the D-flash. Now, if you put this in a different car, you have to code it because that's the flash data. That tells the FRM like, hey, I got a new VIN, you know, put a new VIN in there. So generally, we'll just throw repair, reading flash data, connecting the chip. This one takes longer. There it is. Repair successful. So at that point, I do believe, I haven't tried it yet. I want to. I haven't had a car to do it on yet. You can put this into another vehicle, if it, you know, aside from the vehicle that it came out of, and just code the FRM, and you'll be good to go. So that's pretty much it. Short little tutorial on what I said I've been trying to learn. And there's several different ways to desolder. I'll just throw the heat on there just for a second, pull them off, and then you can use your solder sucker or whatever you want to call it, and just kind of get them a little nice and soft. You can use a wick too. I just ordered a wick. I really only do this if there's an excess amount of solder on it, but it seems pretty good. So thanks for coming to my tech talk. That's I'm gonna come up with some other. I'm gonna do the DME one, and then also, like I said, I had an issue with this T-Ninja box, and I'm gonna show you how I was able to figure it out with a different video. I'm gonna try to set up my little Pico. I have the good Pico at the shop, but I do have a little Pico here where I can show you communication and voltage on a screen as opposed to on a multimeter. So I'm gonna try to set that up and see if I can figure out how to do that. But that's pretty much it. So should be good to go in a car, and hopefully, fingers crossed. Thanks.